Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Moadim l'simcha, Chag Sameach. Today is the 7th day of Passover, and it's Shabbat. And it's today that my family is commemorating the yahrzeit for my grandma, my dad's mom, Marie Gammi Leibovitz. I wanted to spend a few minutes remembering Gammi with you and sharing a memory about her. A couple of years ago, I talked about how important food was for Gammi, and there can be no overstating it. When she offered a snack, it was what most of us would understand to be a meal. When she hosted a Tuesday night dinner, it was prepared as if it was a Shabbat dinner. To stop eating was to violate the simplest of life's formulas for Gammi, and that formula was food equals love. As a purveyor of the Shoah, food not only equaled love, excess food meant success and safety. It was a symbol for so much more about life than simply what we eat. With this amount of food, that meant that there was also always talk about diets. Gammi knew every diet before they became popular, and she also knew which celebrity was using which diet. None of them ever really worked. I'd argue that no diet is truly capable of combating kishki. One day, Gammi told us that her new diet was called the vanilla ice cream diet. She would eat nothing but vanilla ice cream. Even as a child, I thought that the plan sounded ridiculous. How could a person lose weight from eating vanilla ice cream? Now, I have to say this because I know there are people who are going to misunderstand. I don't want you to misconstrue this talk. Nobody's ever lost weight eating a vanilla ice cream diet. I'm not endorsing this as a diet, nor am I endorsing obesity. This is intended simply as a metaphor. And I'm glad looking around the boxes on the Zoom that people are enjoying it and seeing it as such. Because the vanilla ice cream diet was quintessentially Gammi. It didn't make perfect logical sense, and it didn't need to. She simply said it and did it, and that was the case. And it's the lesson that I'd like to leave us with this morning as a community. Gammi had an ability to shed away life's challenges and put a smile on her face in the presence of others. Perhaps that's what her life experiences taught her. She almost willed reality to meet her desired outcome. If you have to give up delicious food in order to diet, why would one choose to only be left with vegetables? If you're going to limit yourself to anything, limit yourself to something you love. Limit yourself to vanilla ice cream. Too many of us carry with us the negative aspects of life for too long without letting go. I certainly do. Disappointing news, a bad meeting, politics, and it can take hold of us. Suddenly, everything looks dark and feels gloomy. We begin to complain. We lose perspective. I'm not referring to health challenges or grief or real loss. I'm not dismissing suffering either. Yet one of the takeaways for me from the past year is that most of life's frustrations don't really matter in the long term. It's not worth being aggravated if we can keep in mind the big picture of what's important for us. We learned to try cooking new things while our favorite restaurants were closed. We learned to cut our own hair. We learned that without going into offices, we could still work and accomplish the tasks that we needed to do. Without entering the synagogue, we managed to create meaningful prayer spaces. We could have focused on any number of those negatives, but instead we focused on the vanilla ice cream. We focused on loved ones and community. As the world begins to reopen, I'd encourage us all to focus in on our personal vanilla ice cream for the upcoming week. For some of us, that might be food. So call the restaurant and make a reservation at the place that you haven't eaten at in a long time. It might be a vacation to a place we haven't been to in a while, and some of us might be looking forward to the summer to do that. It might be loved ones we haven't seen in a long time, and I'd encourage you at this point to try to make a plan on how to see those people and express your love for them. Next Shabbat, we're reopening the synagogue for Shabbat services in person. I can assure you that we're preparing, and you'll receive many email updates about registering and safety protocols and accessing the services through technology if you don't yet feel comfortable coming back to the synagogue right away. And I can assure you that services won't be exactly the same. They might even feel clunky the first couple times back on campus. And I'd invite you to remember this talk, and I'd invite you to focus on the positive. Focus on the vanilla ice cream. We can make it happen. There will always be complicating vegetables that one could decide to focus on. For once, we have permission to throw them away. I can't tell you how much we laughed as kids and as a family. We laughed and laughed when Gammi told us about the vanilla ice cream diet. It made such an impression on me that I'm still talking about it more than 30 years later. I'm a big advocate for all of us to live personally responsible lives. But every once in a while, there's a reason to completely hone in on what we enjoy. Sometimes in life, we just have to celebrate the positive. Once we strip away all of the nonsense that upsets us, at our core, we can always celebrate life, especially a life with vanilla ice cream. May the memory of Gammi Marie Leibovitz, Miriam Bat Yosef Itzipora, continue to be a blessing for our family, for this community, for all of Klal Yisrael. And let us all say, Amen.